If you're afraid of speaking French, whether it's because you're afraid of making mistakes, of being judged, or you're just afraid that you won't be able to communicate effectively, I want to share an idea with you, just food for thought. It's more about quantity than quality. Welcome to Quirky French Podcast, the podcast that helps you speak more confidently, feel more focused, and be more in control of your French learning journey. Prêt? C'est parti! Bonjour and welcome to episode 36 of Quirky French Podcast, the podcast that will help you reach fluency and get over your fear of speaking French. I'm your coach Naima from quirkyfrench.com, and today's just a short one. I just want to share some thoughts, food for thoughts for you really, to help you get over your fear of speaking. Now, usually we're told that quality is more important than quantity. And in many cases, that's true. But when it comes to learning a language, and especially in your case, when it comes to becoming confident and reaching fluency and, really just getting over that fear of having conversations, that fear of speaking with native speakers, thinking the other way around will be your solution. In your specific case, if you're afraid of making mistakes, of being judged, of not being able to communicate, if you think you're going to get stuck, then think the other way around. Start to think in terms of quantity and not quality. Focus on just getting out there, having tons and tons of practice, rather than getting it right and speaking well and increasing and improving your level in French. What does that look like? Usually, as learners, we're told that there's a right answer and a wrong answer. We're told that there's a right way to learn versus a bad way to learn, for example. But when it comes to fluency, it's a more helpful way to think in terms of quantity. So my first question for you is, just have a look at the amount of time that you're engaging with the language. So that could be studying, that could also be having conversations with native speakers. And really just measure. I just want you to measure how many hours, how much time do you dedicate to studying the language, to the theory, versus the number of hours dedicated to real conversations and real life situations with native speakers. And more often than not, you'll find that there's a huge imbalance between the two. We tend to spend so much of our time kind of preparing for the real world, learning vocabulary, grammar, concepts, and doing homework and exercises, and very little time actually out there speaking with people. And I bet you that if you just have a look and really just count the number of hours, you'll see that so much of the time spent is on that preparation. And let's try and rebalance things a little bit. So now I just want you to start to think, okay, how much time can I dedicate to engaging in the real world with actual people? Not engaging in a language in a sense of watching movies or, listening to podcasts, for example, like this one. I'm really talking about using the language for what it's for in the first place, which is to be in communicative experiences way more often than you currently are doing. And there are so many benefits to that. Confidence will come from that large amount of conversations, okay? And it's because you're going to speak and rumble and, feel uncomfortable and fail 100 times that eventually you'll discover what works and what doesn't work, and you'll find your marks and you'll find your ground, okay? So quantity leads to quality, not the other way around. So really the only thing I want you to think about today is to have a look at your study routine and compare the amount of time that you spend in quality land, in theory land, versus the real world, real experiences with people and real communication. Okay? And then start working the other way around, and you'll see the amazing shift that will happen, and the amazing transformation that will happen. So that's it. Just food for thought for today. I wish you a beautiful week. I'll catch up with you next week for another episode of Quirky French Podcast. And until then, keep learning, keep growing, and keep it quirky. I'll catch you soon. Bye. Salut, salut. À la semaine prochaine.